the must-see film club.
It's a wild premise, right? In 2016, the BBC polled critics worldwide, and Wong Kar-wai's In the Mood for Love, released way back in 2000, came in at number 2. And it's not an outlier. The prestigious Sight and Sound poll puts it at number 5 of all time, making it the highest-ranked film from the 2000s. Just last year, Rolling Stone also ranked it second for the century.
And if you describe the story, it sounds impossibly slight. It's 1962 Hong Kong. A man and a woman, neighbors in a cramped apartment building, realize their respective spouses are having an affair with each other. They form a bond over this shared betrayal, a deep, platonic friendship full of longing. And that's pretty much it.
That's the entire narrative engine. No dramatic confrontations, no grand speeches, just glances, gestures, and unspoken feelings. Roger Ebert called it a lush story of unrequited love. But the critical consensus, from Rotten Tomatoes' 92% score to Metacritic's 87, suggests there's something monumental happening beneath that quiet surface.
It's a story told not in what happens, but in what doesn't happen. And that gap between the minimal plot and the colossal acclaim is where the entire story lies. How did Wong Kar-wai create a masterpiece out of absences and restraint?
Well, the creation story is anything but restrained. The production was notoriously chaotic and protracted, lasting 15 months. Wong Kar-wai himself has said it's one of the most important films of his career, and you can feel that in the sheer effort it took to get it made.
15 months is an eternity in filmmaking. What was going on? Was it a troubled production?
It's more about Wong's method. He works improvisationally, without a firm script, discovering the movie as he shoots. This meant he filmed an enormous amount of footage that never made it into the final cut, constantly refining the story on set. He was chasing a feeling, a mood, not just checking boxes on a storyboard.
And he was chasing a very specific time and place, 1960s Hong Kong. But the research says they didn't even shoot it all there, right?
Exactly. To find the authentic, bygone aesthetic he wanted, he ended up shooting parts of the film in Bangkok. He was meticulously recreating a memory of a city. This wasn't documentary realism. It was about capturing an emotional truth, a nostalgia for a time and place that was already vanishing. The film is as much about the memory of 1960s Hong Kong as it is about the characters.
So this grueling, 15-month search for a feeling pays off. The film premieres at the Cannes Film Festival in 2000.
And it's an immediate sensation. Tony Leung wins Best Actor for his incredibly subtle performance as Mr. Chow. The film also picks up the Technical Grand Prize, which is a huge nod to the cinematography and design. It wasn't some little indie that found an audience over time. It was recognized as a monumental artistic achievement from the moment it arrived.
That technical prize at Cannes points directly to the film's real language. It communicates visually, not narratively. So let's break down that visual storytelling. The look of the film is iconic.
It's absolutely hypnotic. The work of his cinematographers, primarily Christopher Doyle and Mark Lee Pingbing, is legendary. They created this world of saturated reds and deep, inky shadows. The lighting isn't just to illuminate the scene, it's to convey the character's inner state of repressed desire and melancholy.
And the camera placement is so distinct. It feels voyeuristic. We're always peering through doorways, over shoulders, or catching reflections in mirrors. The characters are constantly framed by their environment, trapped in these tight, confined spaces, narrow hallways, small noodle stalls, cramped offices.
That's a deliberate choice to amplify the theme of secrets and hidden emotions. The cheating spouses, for instance, are famously never shown clearly. We hear their voices or see the back of their heads, but that's it. This forces us to experience the affair through the eyes of our protagonists, Mr. Chow and Mrs. Chan. They, and we, are left to piece together the betrayal from fragments, which makes it even more painful.
It reminds me of how we talked about Fritz Lang using sound in M to suggest horrors you never see. Here, Wong uses the frame to suggest lives you can never fully access. It's the ultimate show don't tell.
Totally. And then there's the use of time itself. The editing employs these beautiful slow-motion blurs and freeze frames. It's not about disrupting the narrative, like the jump cuts Godard used in Breathless to create a sense of anarchic energy. Here, it's about suspending a moment, stretching it out to emphasize its emotional weight. It gives the whole film this dreamlike, memory-like quality.
This is why The New Yorker had that amazing comparison, likening the film to a Mark Rothko color field painting. It's designed to be absorbed, not just watched. It's a film where mood is prioritized over plot, and every element, fashion, music, color, light, is woven into a narrative that's felt rather than told.
So, if the mood is the product, how do you build and sell it? Let's look at the strategic elements. Take the costumes. Maggie Cheung's character, Mrs. Chan, wears a stunning series of high-collared dresses called cheongsams.
They're gorgeous, but they're not just fashion. They function as a key narrative device. The constant changes in her dress are one of the primary ways we track the passage of time. But more than that, their restrictive, elegant form is a perfect metaphor for her character. Graceful, beautiful, but emotionally buttoned up and constrained.
And then there's the music. The haunting violin of Shigeru Umebayashi's Yumeji's theme and the melancholic Spanish vocals of Nat King Cole. The score is used repetitively, almost like a chorus in a song. It doesn't just accompany the scenes, it becomes an emotional anchor. You hear those first few notes, and you're immediately transported back into the film's world of longing.
It's a brilliant branding strategy. The mood becomes portable. You can hear the music, see a pattern from one of the dresses or a specific shade of red, and the entire emotional universe of the film comes flooding back. The research notes that bars and fashion brands have been named after the film. It created an aesthetic that was so powerful it spilled out of the cinema and into the real world.
That global appeal was also strategic. The story is deeply rooted in 1960s Hong Kong, but its themes are universal. And its style is what one source called a pan-Asian pastiche of Eastern and Western influences. Nat King Cole, a classic American crooner, singing in Spanish, scoring a film set in Hong Kong, it's this cultural blend that helped it travel so well and become an international art house phenomenon.
It elevates Wong Kar-wai to the mainstream of international cinema. It was his biggest commercial success. He didn't just make a film, he created a powerful, globally recognized brand identity built entirely on atmosphere. But for all its stylistic unity, there's a fascinating tension at the heart of the film and how people interpret it. What is this movie actually about?
Exactly. The narrative splits here. On one hand, you have the Roger Ebert perspective. It's one of cinema's great, tragic love stories. It's about two people who find a soulmate in each other, but are bound by morality and circumstance. Their love is defined by its impossibility, by the constant question of what might have been.
And the film absolutely supports that reading. The longing is palpable in every frame. But there's another, more complex interpretation that's emerged, which I find even more compelling.
The one from sources like Periphery magazine, which argues the film isn't really about love at all. It's about memory. It's an exploration of nostalgia and the emotional residue that events leave behind. The story is presented as a recollection, and as we all know, memory is unreliable. It blurs details, heightens emotions, and gets things wrong.
This reframes the entire film. The slow motion, the repetitions, the dreamlike visuals, they're not just stylistic flourishes, they are the language of memory. The characters even engage in this strange role-playing, acting out how they imagine their spouse's affair began. They are literally trying to reconstruct a past they weren't present for, which only deepens their own connection and pain.
It's a story about a memory of a love, not necessarily the love itself. And the ending perfectly encapsulates this. Years later, Mr. Chow visits Angkor Wat in Cambodia and whispers his secret, this buried memory, into a hole in the temple wall, sealing it with mud. He's not moving on from a person. He's entombing a past he can't carry anymore. It's a profound statement about how we process time, loss, and longing.
And that profound feeling is why its influence is still so potent today, in late 2025. You can draw a direct line from this film to some of the most important filmmakers working now.
Without a doubt, Barry Jenkins has been incredibly open about Wong's influence on Moonlight. He talks about the freedom in Wong's framing and how he explored themes of unmanifested love, which is the absolute core of Moonlight. You also see its DNA in Sofia Coppola's Lost in Translation, another film about a profound but unconsummated connection in a foreign city.
The critic Dave Keir called Wong the most imitated figure amongst young Asian filmmakers, and you can see that in everything from independent cinema to massive hits like Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, whose directors, the Daniels, have cited Wong as an influence. He provided a new cinematic language for expressing interiority and emotion.
And its cultural footprint goes beyond film. It's incredible to think that the founder of Mubi, the curated streaming service, was partly inspired to start the platform after struggling to find a copy of In the Mood for Love. This one film's inaccessibility helped spark a whole new model for global independent film distribution.
That's an amazing legacy, and it's not fading. Just this year, for the 25th anniversary, there's been a major 4K restoration with theatrical re-releases. There was even a short companion film released, In the Mood for Love 2001. This isn't a museum piece we're talking about. It's a living, breathing work of art that continues to find new audiences.
Ultimately, that might be the answer to your opening question. How does a film with so little plot have such a huge impact? Because it's not about plot. It's about creating a world so emotionally and aesthetically complete that it becomes a touchstone. It's a film that gave a new generation of storytellers permission to prioritize feeling over formula, and in doing so, it defined the emotional landscape of 21st century cinema.